What is going on, Slay Baes? It's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a chit chat get ready with me video. I haven't filmed one of these in I want to say about a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. So it's definitely long overdue. What I did is I went over on the gram, I posted to my stories and I said, hey, ask me questions, nothing off limits. You guys came with that heat. So we are going to get pretty personal in today's video. It's going to be pretty chatty, more centered around conversation and not so much products. So I hope you guys are into that. It's gonna be a pretty long video though. So kick back, relax, grab a drink, coffee, tea, matcha, water, whatever you drink. I'm drinking iced coffee right now. Let me know what you guys are into. Like, what do you drink? Coffee, matcha, tea, water, Gatorade? I don't know, let me know down below in the comments. I also want to give a huge shout out to Billie because they are sponsoring a portion of today's video. Now, Billie is a female first brand built on clean daily beauty essentials. They are pretty known for their Insta-worthy razors, but they just launched a brand new collection of daily beauty essentials ranging from makeup wipes, lip balm, and also dry shampoo. So we're gonna get into it in today's video, but first make sure you subscribe to my channel because why not? You've come this far. Also, click that bell so that way YouTube will notify you whenever I upload, which is every Monday and Wednesday. With that, I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see all my pores, all my blemishes, all that, and we're gonna get into the video. So let's go. So I went ahead and zoomed you guys in just a little bit. I will be using the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 eyeshadow palette, and the last time I used this, I did use a lot of like the oranges and the pinks, but today I definitely want to keep it very neutral, very simple. So I'm going to start off with this shade right here called Perfectionist, and I'm going to use an M441 to do this. I'm just going to go in big old circular motions here and really start to blow this color out. I did already do my brows and prime my eyelids just for the sake of timing. Now I am going to jump into the first question. The first question says, how are you handling this quarantine? How have you been? I've been as good as I possibly could be. Honestly, I do miss my day-to-day activities. I've always said I'm a master of social distancing because before I never really participated in like social events or anything like that. I really didn't go out all that much, but I definitely miss my day-to-day, like going to the mall, just running to the store, doing errands, hanging out with a couple friends, getting drinks, like going to restaurants. It's just been a little difficult because I'm in my own head like 24 hours a day, and I feel like I have nothing to really pass the time. Before, I had a lot of structure in my day, so I would wake up, I would film, and then I would go to the gym at a certain time, I would make our dinner, and while people may think that's like boring and very typical, that was just my day-to-day routine. And since being in quarantine, I don't really have a routine, and it's honestly driving me a little crazy. I'd love to know how you guys are doing during this quarantine. Like, how are you guys staying sane? Like, what's keeping you busy? Like, let me know. I want to take some of this shade right here called G Money. It's such a beautiful pukey brown. And I know it's not typical to say like beautiful and pukey brown all in the same sentence, but it is a really beautiful shade. So now that I have that brown blown out all in my crease, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It is called Certified. It is more of like a white bone colored shadow. And you guys know I like to really take a light color right here in like the very inner 1/3 of my lid, just to brighten it up a little bit. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do in this case. I'm just taking a small smudger brush, packing on the pigment, and then I'm gonna take a fluffy brush and kind of diffuse it out. All right, you guys, now that I have that lighter color in the very inner 1/3, I'm gonna start prepping my skin for primer, and I'm also gonna clean up the fallout I have right here. And to do that, I will be using my Billie wipes. These are one of 3 products that they just launched in their new collection of daily beauty essentials. They're calling these their Wonder Wipes because they're plant-based and 100% biodegradable. Also, these wipes are really meant to remove any dirt, oil, or makeup from the skin, but they're also vitamin C infused, and they also have hyaluronic acid in it, so it's meant to really hydrate the skin. These wipes are also vegan, cruelty-free, alcohol-free, paraben-free, and sulfate-free, so these wipes are as clean as it gets. I will just pop one out so that way you can see the really thick weave on the wipe. Like, these are shea butter based, so they're gonna be tough on everything but the the skin. I'm actually gonna demo removing this fallout so that way you could see that it gets rid of the fallout in just one swipe. Look how much of that makeup it removed because of the thick weave. I'm gonna do this side as well. I'm also going to use this all over my face, but don't be alarmed. I do have a little bit of concealer on these blemishes here because they're super, super red right now. They are active breakouts, so I didn't want them to be super red on camera because it's not a pretty sight to look at. But I definitely want to remove that because we are going to go in with primer. These wipes here, they don't leave a sticky residue at all, and it never leaves your skin feeling super tight or uncomfortable. So if you guys want to check them out, you can get them on a subscription for just $9. I will have the link down below in the description if you guys are interested in checking it out. You can see how red my blemishes are, but you could also see just how much of that makeup these wipes removed. Hi. Also want to mention that they launched lip balms as well. I've been using this one a lot. This is in the scent Parsley. I'm just gonna put a little bit more on my lips to prep my lips before I put on my lip color. And this is just going to hydrate them and keep them very, very moisturized. They also came out with a dry shampoo, which I have right here. This is called Floof. This is for dark hair, and the packaging on this is so cute. I'm not going to be demoing this in today's video because hashtag pony life, and I don't really need it today, but when I do wear my hair straight, I will be trying this out and testing it out. You just kind of open it, and then you take this off, and then obviously you pour some out and put it in your hair. So I'll keep you guys updated on this, but I'll have the link down below if you guys want to subscribe to Billy for the makeup wipes because they're incredible. Okay, with that, let's move on to primer because Lord knows we need to cover up these blemishes. I will be using the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, which you guys know I love. The e.l.f. Dupe Primer is a spot-on dupe for this, but someone told me in my last video that they couldn't get their hands on it or that it was limited edition and it was out of stock again. No idea how true that is, but I definitely wanted to use something that was easily accessible to you guys. Let's jump into the next question here. I have a question that says, how long did it take you to start actually being able to live comfy on your YouTube income? Now, fun fact, when I first started out on YouTube, I had no idea you can make money online. Like, I started back in 2012, and I started as a way for me to just connect with people all over the world. I really didn't have many friends at the time because I had just graduated high school. A lot of my friends had either went off to college or we just kind of lost touch due to distance and time. So I started doing YouTube on a whim. I started uploading videos, not even knowing that you can make money, but I put my heart and soul into it, like a lot of tears, a lot of long nights of staying in and not going out with friends. And then within like 2 years, I realized that I could make money online based on my following because brands in turn see that you have a following and they're like, hey, I want to send you products. I want to pay you for sponsorships and things like that. But I want to say it took about a solid 2 years. And I know that sounds very, very long, but I never started YouTube for the money. I never started as a way for me to make this a career because I had no idea at the time that you could do that. I really started it as a way to just pass the time, and it truly was my passion to get into makeup and to do makeup. So anytime someone asked me how to make money online, I'm like, hey, just do it because you love it. Don't do it to make money, because I find that people who solely do it for the money don't really succeed in what they're doing because they're so concentrated on making money rather than just having fun or being passionate about what they're doing. So it took me about a solid 2 years. I don't regret it. I am very much grateful for everything that happened. I feel like because I didn't have friends or because I wasn't going out, it really threw me into something that I truly, truly love and wouldn't change for the world. So there you go, a little sappy. I am using the Wet n Wild Dewy Foundation. I literally put it all over my face because I'm like really eager to cover up these blemishes. I will be using this e.l.f. sponge here to really just buff and blend it out. While I blend out the rest of this foundation, I'm gonna move on to the next question. It says, what kind of app do you use to make your videos and what kind of light? Now, I don't really use an app to edit my videos. it's more so a software. I do use Final Cut Pro, and a lot of the equipment that I use is very complicated, so I will have it down below in the description if you guys want to check that out. Now, forewarning, a lot of the equipment I use is very expensive, but just know I've been doing this for about 8 years, so a lot of the money I've made online has been invested back into this business, so that way you guys can in turn have high quality videos to watch, high quality sound to listen to, and things like that. But if you guys are interested in the equipment I use, I will have it down below, a lot of which Bobito has helped me perfect. I started off with a little handheld camera from like Nikon, and he bought it for me for our anniversary, and that's what I used for a little bit. Then I switched over to a Rebel Canon T3i, and ever since then I've been slowly upgrading like every 2 years, just so that way my quality is up to par and it is consistent with the time that we're in, because honestly, video quality has evolved so much from when I started out on YouTube. I guess my biggest advice for those of you who really want to invest in like softwares and camera equipment is to start off small, figure out if you even love it. Oftentimes people will be like, okay, like I really want to do this, and they'll invest so much money into it, and then a few months down the road they'll realize, I hate this. So I feel like you should invest small, see if you even like it, see if you want to stick with it, and then start to invest more money into it, because that's what I did. I'm putting a little bit more of this foundation on because y'all know I'm a full coverage type of gal when it comes to my foundation, especially when I have a bunch of breakouts. So I'm gonna blend this in really quick. Okay, so the next question I have here, it says, what are your favorite places to shop for clothes? Now, hands down, my favorite place to shop for clothes is Nordstrom. I feel like it's a one-stop shop for any and everything. They have so many different brands there. They also have shoes, accessories, makeup, all kinds of things. So before we actually went down into quarantine, that's one of the main places I would always shop for my clothes. But since then, I've been doing a lot of online shopping, and I really love Princess Polly, ASOS, Boohoo, and also Nasty Gal. Boohoo and Nasty Gal would definitely have to be some of my top favorite websites because a lot of the pieces on there are very affordable. Let me know how you guys felt about my last clothing haul. Did you love it? Do you want me to film more like it? And how do you feel about me uploading fashion content on my channel? I'm moving on to concealer. I'm just using this concealer by Too Faced. This is one of their new matte instant coverage concealers. It looks pretty promising in the jar. I feel like it will be very similar to the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. While I put this on, I'm going to jump into my next question, which says, are you and your fiance still looking to buy a house? Yes, we still are looking to buy a house. I feel like we're almost there. Like, we found this house that we absolutely love, and it's a house that I can't stop thinking about. And it's so strange because this is a house that is not fully renovated. It definitely needs a lot of work. Like, when you step into this house, it's almost like you're stepping into a time capsule because it's straight up out of the 90s. But there's so much potential in this house. Like, I can see myself fixing it up with Bobito and just living in it, like having kids in it. And it's so weird because I never thought I would fall in love in a house with a house that wasn't fully renovated. But we are still actively talking about this house and discussing whether or not we are going to go through with it, because as you guys know, COVID-19 is a real thing and it affects more people than you know. I know interest rates are dropping on houses, so now is the time to buy, but we're just kind of waiting it out a little bit. We know if the house goes pending, then it's pretty much all over, but I feel like we will pull the trigger pretty soon, because it's a house that we talk about every single day. Like, there's not a day that goes by where we're not talking about this house. I feel like we're getting pretty close to actually putting in an offer and closing, but we'll see. Anything could happen. So now that I have that concealer nice and blended out, I'm just gonna go in with some powder and I'm gonna move on to the next question. It says, how are you doing with your weight loss during quarantine? Girl, I feel like the first week we went into quarantine, like my weight loss went out the window. Like I have not been exercising at all. Like we did just start going on walks, but that was just very, very recently. I have not been exercising at all, whereas before I would exercise maybe about 5 to 6 days a week. So I will say my weight loss has plateaued. I'm still down on the scale, which is great. So I haven't really gained any weight during quarantine, which is awesome, but I'm not exercising, so I'm not actively losing. The first week, I would definitely say I probably ate all of my quarantine snacks. You guys seen the memes, that was literally me. And I will say my eating habits haven't been the best. When I eat really bad and I eat a lot of fried food, I tend to get the worst heartburn ever. Ulysses says I'm old because I literally will pop Tums like Tic Tacs. Who do you know does that at the age of 28? I have no clue, but I recently got my heartburn under control again because I stopped eating really, really bad food, like greasy food, red meats, just really, really oily stuff. I kind of took a step back and now I'm feeling like 100% better. When I tell you I was having bad heartburn, I was thinking all kinds of crazy things. I'm like, do I have this virus? Like, is my breathing okay? Like that's kind of where my head was at. But I would definitely say once I get my routine back together, I'm definitely gonna try to start exercising, whether that's outside. I do have a lot of weights and stuff in the garage right now, so I could utilize those, but it's really, really difficult because there's like 5 people home right now since the quarantine and since the mandatory lockdown in Florida. A lot of my family is just here all the time, so it's just not the best place to be like exercising in the living room or anything like that. So it's been a pretty shitty situation, if I do say so myself. Ooh, we're nice and powdered. I'm gonna go in with a pressed powder now. I'm gonna use this one right here by LA Girl. It's one of my faves. And I'm just gonna use this to set the rest of my makeup down and in place. The next question is, when did you lose your virginity? Okay, so one thing you have to know about me is I never talk about my sex life, like ever, like not even to my best friends. I don't know, it's just something that I don't do. It's not something I've ever been comfortable doing, but I'll tell you guys, it was during homecoming, my senior year of high school. Yep, I was a senior, and it was something that was very personal to me. Obviously losing your virginity is like a really, really big deal, and I was with this guy for maybe about 2 years, so I lost it to him after 2 years, senior year of homecoming. And it was just a really shitty situation because after everything happened, he just wasn't the person I thought he was. He was like going around telling everybody in school, and I was so shy and timid back then that I was just so embarrassed, and we really didn't talk after that. And I can't really say I regret it because I feel like that experience pushed me to meeting Ulysses, because homecoming was October of 2009 and I met Ulysses in November of 2009. Crazy, like you lose your virginity to somebody and then you literally break up right after. That's kind of how that was. So I definitely feel like you should cherish your virginity, and if I could have waited, I would have waited for my forever person, Ulysses, but it didn't happen. And I don't know, I'm just really glad it didn't happen, because I feel like if that didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have met him. It wouldn't have pushed me out of that relationship into a new relationship. So sad days, but happy days at the same time. Moving back to the house questions, it says, what is a must-have for your new house? Now, for me personally, there's actually a few things that are really, really big for me when purchasing a house. Like the house definitely needs to be open concept. Like I want my kitchen to overlook my family room because I want to be able to cook and still be interactive with people coming over, or even if Ulysses is just in the living room. I don't want my kitchen to really be closed off in that sense, because I don't want to be cooking like all by myself with like no human interaction. I also want a big gathering room. I love a really, really pretty like dining room table, and I also want my master bedroom to be a really, really decent size with a killer master bathroom. Like I definitely want a tub and a shower and 2 double vanities. Like those are some really big requirements. Also a porch. because baby Luna loves to sit on the porch and just kind of look off. She did that a lot when we lived at my mom's house, so that's definitely another requirement. Like, there's a lot of requirements for me when it comes to buying a house. Like, I am so picky, and I feel like I'm almost too picky to the point where I'll probably never find the house. But like I said, I think we did find the house. Has a lot of potential to be everything we want it to be, so that's kind of my main thing for purchasing a house. So the next question I have here is, have you had any bad experiences with a brand or influencers? I wouldn't say so much influencers as brands. For me personally, I feel like brands will chew you up and spit you out if you let them. I'm personally self-managed, so I do handle my books myself with Babito, so it's something that we're constantly discussing and constantly going over. And anytime we have conference calls, it's literally me and him. And one thing we've come to realize is that brands will give you a deliverable list a mile long but not want to pay you for it. And oftentimes I'll hear things like, oh, well, we just thought out of the kindness of your heart that you would do XYZ. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm sorry, but this isn't charity. This is a full-blown business. So if you need me to do services, I will need payment in return. You know what I mean? That's like me saying, hey, I need you to come in for a 15-hour shift, and out of the kindness of your heart, I'm expecting you not to get paid. Like, I'm expecting you to do this for free. It literally happens more than you guys know. Like, the business scene behind the screen is unreal. Like, I've seen and heard things that will literally blow your mind, but that's just the name of the game. That's why a lot of influencers of my stature, of my size, have management, but I do unfortunately have trust issues with that. So that's why I've stayed self-managed, and honestly, I have no complaints. I feel like I'm in a really good place. I'm able to do this full time, and Babito's able to work alongside with me full time. So I feel like it's a learning curve, but it's definitely something that you could easily learn on your own without any additional help. I'm just gonna add some blush to my cheeks here, and I'm gonna jump into the next question. It says, have you ever gotten a speeding ticket? I have. I wanna say like once and never again. It was when I was going to the gym super early in the morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was gonna be late for my 6:15 class. So I was speeding, trying to get there, and I got pulled over. I was super sad about it, and I felt really, really guilty because I'm like, okay, like I was being very selfish, driving very fast. I could have gotten in an accident or something like that. So definitely don't speed often. I like to refer to myself as like driving Miss Daisy. I drive super, super slow and very careful. Ulysses actually hates it. Whenever he doesn't want to drive, he's like, drive, and then I'll drive, and then he'll be like, your driving sucks. And I'm like, look, if you were gonna criticize my driving, you might as well have just drove yourself. Those are little petty arguments. And trust me when I tell you, most times they're very, very petty. Now, speaking of Ulysses, there's another question on here that says, have you and Ulysses ever broken up? Me and Ulysses have been together for 10 years. So if you know anybody who's been together as long as we've been together and they say they've never broken up, that's a bold-faced lie, because I feel like every relationship has its ups and downs. We've broken up, but we've never broken up for a long period of time. I want to say 1 to 2 months max, but we've never dated outside of each other within these 10 years. Like, we've never broken up and then dated someone else, because that's one thing I told him when we first started dating, is that I don't date my exes, like, ever. So if we break up, trust me when I tell you, like, I'm not going to date you again if you decide that you want to date somebody else, because to me, that's disrespectful. And I feel like you don't need to date someone else to figure out if you want to be with that person. So that was one thing I told him, and that's one thing we've always done. Like, if we've broken up, we've taken a break for about a month or 2 months, but we've never dated other people in between. My face makeup's looking a little crazy, so I definitely need to go back into the Jaclyn Hill palette and apply some shadow on my lower lash line, because again, we looking a little crusty. I'm gonna take it on this flat definer brush and I'm just gonna smudge it. By the way, I am using this shade right here called Perfectionist. So that lighter shade, and I'm gonna use this to connect everything and really just blow it and smoke it out. So I definitely feel like I'm in a really good place. I need to do a little bit of liner because I feel like this looks bare. So I'm gonna jump into the Tati Beauty palette. I haven't used this in a while. I do really love it. I'm gonna pick up that dark brown called Ritual, but you can use any dark brown you have at home. And I'm just gonna do a smoked out shadow liner. I really can't multitask when I do liners, so I'm gonna do this really quick and then we'll move on. Now that I have liner on, I'm gonna pop on false lashes, of course. I'm gonna be using these by Lily Lashes in the style Doha, and I'm gonna be using my Lily Lash Glue to do that. I'm not sure if you guys wanna stick around and watch, but I mean, I guess you can. Let's roll the music. All right, so lashes are on for the most part. I'm just gonna coat the base of my lash with a little bit of mascara. And the next question is, what's my go-to drink? Are we talking just like regular drink or alcoholic drink? If we're talking about an alcoholic drink, it would definitely have to be a mojito or a margarita. Like, I love mojitos, I love margaritas. And if we're talking about like a regular drink, it would definitely have to be like an iced coffee. Whenever I go to Starbucks, I order a tall vanilla latte with a double shot of espresso. Like, that's just been my vibe. I feel like when I first started getting into coffee, I love my coffee super, super sweet. Now, if you give me a really sweet coffee, I'll literally throw up. Like, I want to taste more of the coffee than I do the sugar, and that's just been my thing. Another question I see on there is, do I have any goals? And yes, my goals are always changing. I feel like the older and older I get, the more and more serious my goals become. I feel like for a long time, one of my biggest goals was to buy a house, and since we're like almost there, like we're almost at a point where we want to put in an offer to close on a home, I feel like my goals are changing. Like, I definitely want to grow off the platform, and when I say the platform, I mean YouTube. Not to say I'm going to stop filming videos, but I definitely want to create different revenue streams because the algorithm is constantly changing on YouTube. So I feel like it's a lot smarter to have different streams of revenue than to just have all of my streams of revenue come through like brand partnerships in YouTube views. So that's kind of where we're at. We've been discussing several different options for growing off the platform, whether that's a clothing line, merch, a makeup line. Like, the sky's the limit, and it's just the beginning. So stay tuned. I am gonna go in with a lip liner. I'm gonna use this one right here by KKW, but the one in the shade Shoop by Milani is like pretty much the same. So if you can get your hands on that, go get it. All right, let's go in with lipstick. I'm gonna use the KKW lipstick in the shade 2. You guys know I've been obsessed with this shade, and I feel like it goes with this lip liner very, very well. One of the last things I'm gonna do is go into the Tati Beauty palette, and I'm gonna pick up the sequin shade called Aura, and I'm just gonna stick that in the very inner corner just to add a little bit of shine here. And it's not gonna be too shiny, but it's gonna add a little shimmer. I think this is such a pretty shade. Have you guys tried the Tati Beauty palette? And if you have, let me know what you think of it. It definitely is one of my favorite like influencer launches. And I know this isn't like a collaboration or anything, like this is actually her brand, and I think she's done a really awesome job with it. Okay, I'm gonna finish things off with a little bit of setting spray. I will be using the Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. Wow, my ears are ringing. You know what that means? That means somebody's talking about you. I hope it's good. Better be good. Again, this is by Glow Recipe. I'm gonna use this to set my face down and in place. also need to go in with a little bit of brow gel. This is by Benefit, but I also love one from CoverGirl as well. This is just what's right next to me. So I went ahead and zoomed you out, you guys. That's pretty much it for my makeup look. I had a lot of fun sitting down and just chatting with you guys about life and just updating you guys on what's been going on. If you guys are interested in any of the products I use, I will have them listed down below. Also, don't forget to check out Billy. I will have it linked at the top of the description box if you guys want to get the Wonder Wipes. And also remember, it literally costs you nothing to support your favorite influencers during COVID-19. So like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, your mama, your papa, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, whoever. And I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Deuces.